Welcome back to the Today's Woman Show, the October issue where we are speaking on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in this particular topic, we're discussing equity and gun violence. And joining me is the co-founder of Whitney Strong, Miss Whitney Austin. I stumbled across your event and heard you speak on a whim, and it completely changed my perspective. And I have such a huge admiration and respect for the work that you're doing, because I feel as though you relive it all the time when you're telling this story. Share with our viewers how Whitney Strong came about and just a little bit about your story.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me. My life changed on September 6, 2018. I was a banker, perfectly content being a banker, and thought I was heading up to our corporate headquarters at Fifth Third Bank in Cincinnati, Ohio. And instead, I walked into a mass shooting that had erupted on that day. And what is most remarkable about that day is that somehow I survived 12 bullets entering and exiting my body. And I will never forget waking up in the hospital after all of this information had been conveyed to me and thinking, this is it, game over. No one gets this gift. No one gets these blessings. There were 3 people that died on that day. And so it was the clearest moment of my life that I needed to pay this gift forward, and I needed to do everything that I could, not just to stop the mass violence that had happened to me, but to dig in and to prevent all forms of gun violence.
The strength that had to come out of that, I hope, is a beacon of light for women everywhere. That if this woman who had 12 bullets enter her body was able to overcome fear and put that lesson to work, that there is nothing that as women that we cannot do. Whitney, what I also love about your work with Whitney Strong is, I mean, you rolled up your sleeves. And as you began to dig into the data and the research, you understood that it wasn't just mass shootings, but gun violence was an issue everywhere. And there were some serious disparities as it related to specific communities. Can you talk to us about the revelation behind that data and how you all began to work in that space?
Yeah, it really all started because I was blessed to just recover. For about 10 months, I could physically and mentally recover from my wounds, and I was used to just working really hard as a corporate employee. So I started to dig into the data, to dig into the solutions of gun violence, and also at about that same time, I started to attract other survivors of gun violence, and to this day, those are some of the most important friendships that I have developed. And I really was exposed to the different forms of gun violence and how different forms disproportionately impact certain communities. And so, you know, for example, you can talk about suicide by firearm. It is disproportionately impacting our rural communities, but on the flip side, homicides are disproportionately impacting urban communities, specifically young black males. And so as we started to think about the solutions that we wanted to execute upon, it was really on my heart that it should not just be about what happened to me. And so one of the solutions that we landed upon is a program called Save a Life. And what we do is we offer them evidence-based trainings that can make their community safer. Trainings such as suicide prevention, firearm safety, which heavily focuses on safe storage and safe handling, and also Stop the Bleed training, which can help in the instance that you come across someone who has been shot. You would know how to apply pressure, apply a tourniquet, and save a life. Save a Life is really a way to focus on neighborhoods that see more levels of homicide than others, and we're seeing great results, training more than 500 people a year and seeing really great results in terms of outcomes, changes in behavior after these sessions.
And it's not just a program. You now can obtain those kits, Save a Life kits. How do people go about obtaining those?
Yeah, so again, Everything with Whitney Strong is preventative. We don't want gun violence to happen in the first place. The only thing that is not is Stop the Bleed training and the Save a Life kits. And so it's not just for gun violence, actually. You know, trauma can occur from an automobile accident. Someone could fall off of a ladder. And if bleeding is uncontrolled, then someone can die in less than 5 minutes. So these kits come with all the tools necessary and the education necessary to be able to save a life in those situations. And you can buy them through whitneystrong.org, and know that every time you buy one from us, then we will also donate one into the neighborhoods we serve in Louisville, which are primarily West End neighborhoods.
We want everyone to go to whitneystrong.com and to purchase one of these kits to continue supporting the work that Whitney is doing. As we have always said, it is so important to pay it forward and to see your neighbor. And what Whitney is doing is making sure that we see those that have come under gun violence, and we want to do something to change that. We'll see you all here, same time, same place, next month for the November issue.